Jedi. So what are you?
We are Sith.
Darth Maul is back. What do you do with a Sith Lord that was thought to be dead that now is back alive? Beyond his hatred for Obi-Wan Kenobi, there was the idea that he was a well-trained apprentice and that he would start to do the things that he had been trained to do, to build armies, to deceive people, to create a power base for himself.
Your mark.
The sign of Clan Vizsla. I am Pre-Vizsla.
So George came up with the idea of teaming up Maul with Mandalorians, which I think instantly, when you say that to a Star Wars fan, you think, wow, that's a pretty potent group.
Are we prisoners?
No. Allies. They have much to offer, including their planet. They are strong, and unlike pirates, they possess honor.
Another weakness.
Now, the thing with the Mandalorians is that they have this code of honor, this warrior code that Maul understands, and he also understands that he can use this. Because while Maul understands it, he doesn't follow the same type of code, and he looks at it with the Mandalorians as this is a terrible hindrance, and this is why these guys will never amount to much. But I can use them. You know, we'll be able to use them to great effect. They're armored, they're dangerous, they're disciplined, and they're reliable.
But bigger than that, bigger than just having a weapon at his disposal, was the idea that Maul really wanted a broad power base. And to get this, he identifies the criminal underworld as a place for him to flourish. Because Sidious, in his gaze, is more focused on the war at hand and conquering the Jedi. Maul knows this, so he figures that he could sneak in and kind of create his own little miniature empire underneath everything by existing in the underworld.
And it's fun to see that there are really two different types of villains in Star Wars. There are the mythic villains like Palpatine, Darth Vader, or Darth Maul. And then there are the more grounded, frontline, dirty underworld villains.
You know the Hutt clan, rather famously, but you probably don't know the Black Sun and the Pikes. The idea of the Black Sun is something that I first learned about the old game kind of multimedia platform, which was Shadows of the Empire. And I thought, well, that would be great to bring the Black Sun into the story, because in a lot of EU material that I had read, Maul was pretty active in breaking up the Black Sun for Sidious. So there's some relevancy there that he would know about the Black Sun, that he would have a good idea of where they were, and that they have a certain amount of power that he could try to make his. The Pikes are really interesting. They really came to light, something from George that he had been developing, and they're this really kind of interesting, very alien, small faces, big kind of pod heads, pretty abstract, sinister little guys. And finally, of the three groups that Maul goes after, the last are the Hutts. And the Hutts we figured would be the most resistant, because they have the most power on their own. There's a decent battle there between the Hutts, and they capture one of them. And then in a scene out of something that I think only up to this point was probably reenacted with action figures by fans at home, George requested the attack and onslaught of Jabba's palace by Mandalorian soldiers and Black Sun supporting. I mean, that's some hardcore, nerderific stuff there, George. And I never thought when starting this show that was something that we'd ever see. But it's all part of showing that Maul's not just brute force, but he's also being smart, and he's building a power base, and he's doing kind of what Sidious did with the Senate, though Sidious is even way more subtle than Maul is. Well, I can't say anything more, but I know how this goes now. I know how this goes. And boy, before it's over, what Maul's up to. Wow.
Fucking Dave. Fucking Dave.